We are now joined by Israeli Ambassador to South Africa, Eli Belotserkovsky. He joins us now via Teams. Thank you so much for your time. And perhaps, Ambassador, let's start with just your reaction to the surprise attack against the State of Israel by Hamas in the early hours of this morning.
Well, thank you, and good afternoon to all the viewers. This morning, which is a Saturday, and it's a special holiday today in Israel, Israel was attacked in a very surprised manner. It was attacked by massive missile barrages on cities and towns like Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, Ashdod, Ashkelon. Until now, more than 3,000 missiles have been fired, and these missiles have targeted specifically civilian population. In addition to this, the Hamas terrorist organization, together with the Islamic Jihad terrorist organization from Gaza, sent infiltrators that had penetrated Israel territory, armed bands of terrorists, entering through tunnels that were dug specifically for this, entering with air gliders, paragliders, from the air, landing on the Israeli territory, by boats with groups of armed men attacking Israel civilians, taking hostages, and we hear some reports of forcibly transferring civilians to Gaza Strip. So this attack was completely unprovoked. There was no reason for this. It was absolutely unwarranted. It was perpetrated on one of our holiest days, on Saturday, and on a holiday, specific holiday. And as we speak now, still the situation is developing. There is still a lot of fighting going on between the Israeli army and the terrorists, and we are still expecting developments as we speak.
I don't know how much of the interview we've just had now with the ambassador of Palestine, essentially saying that this is a normal consequence of the Israeli occupation, saying that they've been warning Israel for years that something like this would happen.
Well, I don't know how you can call an attack on civilian, on children, on women, on normal civilian population, and normal consequences. There cannot be a normal consequences of this kind. I think this attack has to be condemned, and it has been condemned already by a whole number of countries and governments, and I think it's very important for all the peace-loving countries to condemn it. There are political problems that have to be taken care of. But this attack, this onslaught, I mean, if we justify such an attack on Israel, we can justify any attack on anybody. This attack has to be prevented, condemned, and the perpetrators should be punished.
Now, of course, we know that, this ongoing tension has been something that has been going on for years now. But this bloodshed is the most significant escalation of the tension between Hamas and Israel in years, we are told. Hamas just now responding to the latest attack, saying that the violence was a revenge of the desecration of the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem and a response to Israeli killings and wounding hundreds of Palestinians this year alone.
Look, the reason for such an onslaught would be found easily. It's not a problem to invent a reason. If it's not one thing, then it's the other thing, then it's the third thing. I cannot see any reason that will justify an attack on civilians, perpetrated intentional attack on people that have not done nothing wrong. There is no justification for any of this. And I repeat, I think that if this attack is not condemned, then, everything is possible. Then why we will find a reason for any kind of attack? It's impossible, to justify this thing. And in addition to this, I want to say, we don't have a conflict. We are not at war with the Palestinian people. We are trying to develop relations with the Palestinian people. You know that there are tens of thousands of Palestinians that pass from the Palestinian territory into Israel for work every day. And we are supporting the Palestinians in many ways through electricity, through infrastructure, etc. We have a problem. I'm not shying away from it. We need to solve this problem. But attacks on civilians intentionally, it's not a way of solution. It's a crime. It's an absolute crime that has to be condemned.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu earlier today, of course, speaking to the Israeli people, saying that the enemy Hamas will pay a price that has never been seen before, a high price that is. And he, of course, he said that he is meeting with his heads of security cabinet. Now, of course, in the retaliation, and as you say, that this was an attack on civilians, how does he then balance that in his retaliation to ensure that innocent people are not also caught in the crossfire?
Well, we are not seeking retaliation. We are seeking to punish the perpetrators, to punish the terrorists that commit these kind of atrocious acts. We are trying in our actions, in the actions of the Israeli Defense Forces, we are trying our best to prevent any kind of civilian casualties. This is a policy that has been stated for a very long time, forever basically. We are trying to prevent any kind of civilian casualties. But we also need to remember that the Hamas terrorist organization acts from centers of civilian population. They do it intentionally in order to increase the chance of victims among the civilian population. We are trying to prevent it. We will do everything to prevent it. It's not about retaliation. Again, I repeat, it's about punishing and providing disincentives to the Hamas terrorists from attacking Israel.
Ambassador, as we close our conversation, of course, at the latest, we know that 40 people were killed in the surprise assault, many of whom are police officers, and that around about 700 people have been injured. Do you know what the situation on the ground is at the moment?
Well, at the moment, there is still fighting that is going on. We are still trying to control the situation. The Israel Defense Force is still trying to stabilize and try to repair this attack. But unfortunately, we are paying a very, very heavy price, and I don't know yet the extent of this price in human lives. And that is absolutely a tragedy. And I really think that this massive onslaught on civilian population with missiles, with terrorists that are entering houses, trying to kill the people, to take hostages, it's something that is really unbelievable and has to be condemned.
Ambassador, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Of course, that is Israeli Ambassador to South Africa, Eli Belotserkovsky, who's joining us via Teams and, of course, responding to that attack on Israel.